Hello, my name's Kat Thorne. I'm the Director of Sustainability here at King's College London. So the main goals for COP26 obviously has to be raising ambition for the global climate agenda. This has to be countries' number one priority. Obviously, it has to drive action. So we really have to make this happen now. We haven't got time. The other thing is really ensuring that climate action is just, so it's fair. We have to support the most vulnerable countries, so those which have the least resources, which are often those most affected by the climate crisis. In terms of the role of organisations like King's College London, so obviously, like any organisation, we have to lead by example. We, as an organisation, obviously have a significant carbon footprint, so we have to contribute by addressing the actual climate crisis ourselves. We obviously have to minimise emissions, invest responsibly, but also advocating for change by working with our partners. We have to strive to actually achieve not only carbon reduction, but also ultimately absolute zero and net zero along the way. King's College London, we have the benefit that our products are sort of research and education. So obviously we have to make sure that these are also providing solutions and critical perspectives to key climate issues. We can contribute our expertise. So we have colleagues like Tamsin Edwards and Mark Pelling, who are lead authors of the IPCC report. We also have the opportunity to address the climate crisis from all our fields of expertise. So be that climate science, but also through ethics and politics, behaviour change, psychology. In terms of education, we know our students want to be climate literate. So we need to train them not only in climate literacy, but also how can they be change makers and activists? How do we prepare them to identify how not only the identifying careers that they want to work in, but how they, within those careers, can address the climate crisis, be it indirectly or directly. So we have the opportunity to embed it into the curriculum. Also, hand in hand, we also have a large number of staff. So we have the opportunity to support them in being climate literate. And that's absolutely essential. In terms of how King's works and communicates with our stakeholders about climate change. So we obviously have a lot of stakeholders. Just starting with our staff and students, that's obviously key. You have those who really want to take action and be involved. So we created the Climate Action Network, and with our staff and students, we've co-created our Climate Action Plan, which has been a fantastic way of giving our staff and students that agency and opportunity to be part of something. They'll also be part of the governance of it, so looking after monitoring and reporting against it. And the conversations we've had, that feels really important for people. So how can they take action themselves? Because I think it's tricky as individuals otherwise, knowing what can you do, you know, as one person. Obviously, we have a lot of kind of existing networks as well as new sort of sector networks that have been set up thinking about climate change. So over the last sort of few years, I've really seen existing networks embedding this into kind of what they do and thinking about how they respond. So be that at the most senior levels, some of the sector networks, but sort of throughout. There's something called the COP26 Universities Network. So King's is part of that, working together with the sector to kind of provide solutions and act collectively. So that's been really beneficial to bring together the work. In terms of our external kind of stakeholders, there's obviously numerous, and each member of our staff is often communicating with people, and we're sort of seeing more and more that conversations are coming in as part of what they do, be that funding opportunities or working with organisations. For us internally, it's been important to be able to kind of collate and have a point of contact for people to contact us, because often we're finding this is appearing within people's work who haven't dealt with kind of climate work before, and being able to link people up internally to work with people externally to produce solutions. So another important area for us is obviously working with our local communities as well. So as part of our climate action strategy, we have a community and engagement group, and building that into the work that we already do, sort of via our London and service teams. Our local councils have all sort of claimed climate emergencies, and they've been developing their climate action plans and been part of the stakeholder groups for those. Another key one is obviously procurement. For majority of organisations, a large part of our carbon footprint is via the supply chain. So working with the companies to identify, is there different products we can buy? Is there a different way of buying, of getting them delivered? Do we need less of those products? Obviously, some companies are ahead, some not so much so, and working with those people and sometimes helping them to innovate, to create the products that we need. And obviously working, as say, with our local communities, we find there's lots of volunteering opportunities, supporting those, providing kind of open access climate education, and supporting community organising has been something really important. The other thing we're sort of really seeing is that interface between research and policy. So our Policy Institute working with their stakeholders, for instance, having those sort of dialogues. For instance, recently there was a study on the public's misperceptions on climate change, and having those discussions